Hi again, and thanks for listening to another episode of our Life at the Lake Campus podcast. My name is Josh Ricker. I've been interviewing a few students here and there about their experiences here at the Lake Campus, and today I have with me Jack Henry. Jack is a first year student from New Knoxville. He is a criminal justice major with a minor in psychology. So, Jack, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so I've been trying to find students that have like an entire range of experiences, and you have a very unique one we haven't talked about yet on this podcast because you have a military background. So, would you mind giving us a little bit of an introduction to yourself first, and then kind of talk about your experience in the military?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Jack Henry. I graduated from New Knoxville High School back in 2018. I left for the Marine Corps the day after I graduated high school. Spent 5 years in, came out, was like, hey, I need to go to school. So I picked the Lake Campus because it was nice and local.
So, what was that like? You had no time between graduation and jumping into the Marines. Like, what was that like?
I wanted to get it done as fast as possible because I was like, if I sit around and wait, I'm going to get cold feet. So I was like, just rip it off like a Band-Aid.
All right. So, what was your decision process like in going to the military? Why go Marines or as opposed to any other branch, or maybe do the workforce or whatever?
Well, I've always had an interest in law enforcement and whatnot, and I saw with the Marine Corps that would be an opportunity to get a background in law enforcement before I actually hit the market. So it would make me a little bit more competitive. Plus, the Marines a bit more disciplined than the other branches.
All right, no offense to them, but
Yeah, no,
no, I got a couple of Marines in my family history. So, where were you stationed?
so I got stationed in Hawaii for my 4 years on active duty, and then for my last year, which was inactive reserve obligation time or non-ob time, I was down at Wright-Patterson in 4th LE. So nice and local.
All right. So, what kind of stuff then did you learn in the military that might be applicable to your career now?
So I think the biggest thing I learned in the military was just organization. Keeping everything regimented. Um, definitely, definitely helps with getting assignments done and stuff like that because you're not scrambling. Everything's organized.
All right. So then, when your time was up, what what was the thought process like then that led you to think, okay, I'm gonna go back to school now?
Well, I got out and I was like, okay, that's nice and cool. The Marine Corps is an excellent thing to have on a resume, but at the end of the day, it's still not as good as having the college degree. So I was like, well, I could have both, and with the GI Bill, that kind of helps facilitate that. And Wright State's been pretty good at helping me along with that.
Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, can you explain what the GI Bill is?
Yeah, of course. It's a little government kicker program to encourage veterans and servicemen to go to college after they get out of the military.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
then you made the decision to go back to school. Why Lake Campus? What drove you here?
Well, the biggest thing for me was it was local. I'm staying in a place in New Bremen now that I'm fixing up, so it was nice and local. And it beats driving to Dayton or Lima all the time. And then, I came here for a few events and stuff like that when I was in high school. Mark Ernst held some kind of thing for the police academy back when I was high school that kind of caught my interest. And so, I've always had that kind of in the back of my mind that, the Lake Campus wouldn't be a bad school to go to. So when I got out, it just kind of seemed seamless.
So then you make your decision for school. How'd you decide on the major then? Like you kind of, I know you said you went to the military, that's that criminal justice background, but was there anything while you were there that made you certain that that's where you wanted to go? Then why did you tag on that psychology minor with it?
Well, in the Marine Corps, I was a military police officer, so, I was writing cases and doing reports and stuff like that, and I was like, yep, cop is 100% the route I'm going to go. So I think that a criminal justice degree would make me a lot more competitive in the market for that. As far as the psychology thing goes, I honestly wasn't going to pick a minor until I had a 1010 with Michelle Smith, and then I was like, man, this is a pretty interesting topic, so I picked that as give me something else to do.
Nice little plug there for Michelle. We didn't plan that one, but shout out to her for doing some good work.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you wrap things up here then with your criminal justice major and the psychology minor, what's the plans for after that?
Well, that is still kind of up in the air. I would like to do a police academy somewhere. Kind of undecided whether I want to, pursue like the highway patrol route and go to their academy, or if I'm going to do the academy here. But either way, I will be doing an academy somewhere.
All right, so what is it, just because I'm curious now, the main draw to that profession? Like, why? Like, what is it that intrigues you about it?
Definitely the cool hats and the spiffy uniforms. That's definitely a plus. No, I don't know. Just everything seems kind of regimented. They're a lot more disciplined and stuff like that. It just kind of seems like a seamless transition from military police to regular police.
Okay, so we're gonna get off track from the academy stuff a little bit and just kind of focus a little bit more on campus in general. What has your experience been like here so far? So you said you're in your first year still, getting towards the end of your second semester now. So what kind of things have happened here that's really stuck out to you?
Yeah, so one thing that stuck out to me about campus is just how much smaller this is than, say, like a campus down in Dayton or something like that. Like you get to know your professors a little bit more. You make little inside jokes and get nicknames and whatnot. It's a lot more of a close environment.
Not everybody gets a nickname, but you, at least in my classes, you definitely got one. Just because, for some background, so his name is John Henry. He goes by Jack. And the first day when I asked him what he wanted me to call him, he wouldn't give me an answer. So I started referring to him as John Jack. And then I think the first time you ever emailed me, that's how you signed off. So I'm like, well, that one stuck then. So, all right. So for somebody who's looking at the same type of career path as you, in terms of like maybe going from high school into the military, do you have any advice for them?
From high school into the military, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely pick a job that you can see yourself doing. Pick something that's going to look great on a resume. If you don't really get the support that you're looking for from your friends and family, know that you're going to get the support that you're looking for in the military. It's a great place. Everybody finds a place to belong, a little niche. Yeah, but definitely just find something that looks good on a resume, you know?
So the sources of support in the military, did it come from a specific type of person? Was it like people who were at the same rank as you, or like those ranking higher? Like where did you get like your strongest source of support from?
Well, I'd say 9 times out of 10, the support that you have in the military comes from the guys to your left and right. The guys in your platoon that you're kind of in everything with. But I mean, there's like USO and stuff like that. There's a bunch of organizations that come in to support servicemen and women. You get support up your chain of command and all that. Like there's always somebody there with a shoulder to lean on. Like it's a pretty good environment for that.
All right, so then for the second part of that transition, then do you have advice for somebody who's like in the military or just left the military and is thinking about going back to school? Because I've had a few students in the past who have had that military history, but they took a lot longer in between leaving the military and going to school than you did, because it seems like you jumped right into school afterwards. So do you have any advice in that part of the stage?
Yeah, absolutely. For that, I'd say just rip off the Band-Aid. Like it might be intimidating. I know, especially if you're getting off the end of an active duty contract, you're just kind of ready to be done with getting told what to do and all that. But I mean, this is just better. It's a lot less rough around the edges. It looks better on a resume. It can only help you. With that kicker and all that. Absolutely, I encourage everybody in the service to kind of jump ship over.
All right, so you kind of sparked another question in my head right there. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this in a good way, but you just went from the lifestyle of where it seems like you're constantly told where to be, what to do, and then you move on to college now where a lot of it's put on yourself.
Yeah.
Could you maybe explain how that transition goes?
Yeah, so that actually wasn't as rough as I had imagined. The professors and all that I've had thus far, I've had pretty good syllabuses, that they release before class actually really picks up. And it tells you, what days we're going to meet, where we're going to meet at, what's expected of us, stuff like that. So as far as getting out of the military, we were being told where to be, what to wear, what to do. That's pretty seamless right there. That's almost one for one. With the exception of, at least with the syllabus, it's planned out, 15 weeks in advance or something like that. So it's a little bit more... it keeps you in the dark a little bit less. Absolutely.
You're the second or third student I've had on here now who's mentioned, look at the syllabus and stick to it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so for the students who are listening to this, or the future potential students, definitely pay attention to the syllabus. It's there to help you and myself, but it provides you with that nice little guideline. It's everything, structure. Everything that you need for class is going to be right there. All right, so one final question I'll ask for you. So hopefully this hasn't been too daunting so far. But for anybody who is just in general now, not just your exact path, anybody who's starting off college or is looking to come here for the first time, do you have any piece of advice for them?
Yeah, so I guess in that situation, I do have a piece of advice. It would be to kind of pace yourself. You don't want to, at least in my experience, it can be a little bit intimidating at first, kind of transitioning into the whole college lifestyle and all that. So, I just started with the basic classes. I took the minimum amount of required credits to be considered full-time. And, I just kind of got a feel for everything. I didn't jump in head first into everything, because I feel like that's just a surefire way to kind of burn yourself out quick, I think if you pace yourself and kind of ease yourself back into the whole school lifestyle, that will definitely benefit you.
Okay, so I lied. So there's one more question that because you just kind of sparked it in my head there. Given what you just said, would you say that there's any sort of specific transition that you had or challenge that you've had in your first year that's been the toughest?
Well, for me specifically, it's the transition from the military to the college lifestyle. Because just a year ago, everything I owned was green, and I had a lot different schedule. So I'd say the military. The college experience is a little bit more laissez-faire, like I said. It's a lot. There's a lot more freedom and responsibility and whatnot to wiggle around than in the military. The military, everything is regimented. It's supervised by your non-commissioned officers and whatnot. So I guess the issue I've had with the transition so far is just I feel like there's a lot more room to mess up than in the military. It's I'm not, to put it in layman's terms, you kind of get babysat by somebody in the military. Everybody watches everybody.
Well, at least in my eyes, if you mess up here, it's a lot less detrimental than messing up in the military. I feel like the punishment is going to be a lot worse. But.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, well, that's everything I have for you then. So, great job. Thanks for doing this again, and then I think on behalf of myself and everybody listening, thanks for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a great thing. So, I wrap these up every time by letting everybody know if there is somebody out there that you want me to interview, send me an email and let me know. Or if there's a certain type of student I'm missing out, I'm always open to interviewing them as well. Or if you have a question, I'm open to those too. So that's everything we have for you on this episode, and I'll talk to everybody next time.